Bear, CFB Moose, alongside Brian Jester FF here at OccupyFantasy.com. Brian, how you doing today, buddy?
Oh man, crazy morning. Just dealing with trying to get my windshield fixed. This is the second Saturday in a row. Of course, they can only do it during the NFL playoffs. Second Saturday in a row, they've brought the wrong windshield. So super fun. But now we can focus on lineup building.
Dude, whatever company they have, OF index is not high.
Yes, I swear, dude. It's got to be monopoly because there's no way they can have this bad of customer service and continue to be in business if there was any competition whatsoever.
That's crazy. So other than that, how'd you do last week? Did your lineups do all right?
Okay, last week, ended up losing a little bit. I took a really high risk approach.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of the single games were really nice. One of the two games was pretty nice. The rest was pretty trash, to be honest. So
Yeah, it was definitely not something I was expecting. But we're here back again this week, ready to win some money. Do you want to start out single game with the early game today?
yeah, let's do single game lineups on both sites, and let's start out with this early game.
Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead here. I'll be honest, I haven't had much time to read the plug. I skimmed through it. I have it up here in another tab. Pulling this up here.
I can certainly answer any questions that you have. So
Yeah, so it almost seems like for this first game, do you think the late snow and there's that drop in the total of 2 points in the last 3 hours? Do you think that has any effect on what type of contest selection we have?
I don't know. I know the total's dropping. There was a steam move, if I'm not mistaken, right? A sharp move came down, right, on that game.
Correct, yeah. But I think it's almost just the fact that I think it's just the pros getting ahead of the public, and they're like, okay, this line, we know the public's going to drop it 2 points. Might as well steam it and see what we can get.
It's true because I mean it's all over Twitter. If you watch any of the pregame shows now, the snow is all over. I really don't think it's that big of a deal. Kevin Roth on Twitter is saying that it's likely not going to have that great of an impact. The snow should stop by kickoff. I don't think it has that big of an impact. I'm playing it straight up as I would before. If it keeps dropping, maybe I reassess here, and
Yeah.
if it's still snowing heavily through, as we approach kickoff, then maybe reassess. But I think I played the same way as written in the plug. So
Perfect. So taking a look here, I'm just taking a look here. Do you think, just reading the plug, it says use someone like Luck or maybe like a pass catcher as your MVP and captain spot, and there's no real value plays. Do you think we go high risk here?
yeah, I think high risk is the way to go for sure. And there's really maybe one, and I don't even think you can call him safe value plays. So let's take a look at high risk. FanDuel, I think they've opened up some more contests today. Do they have the big game satellite for the single game?
Let's see here.
For those out there listening, the big game satellite is that Super Bowl GPP here in a few weeks. That should be a pretty good contest. Who knows? FanDuel probably still doesn't have satellites for it.
No, I don't know, but they certainly have a fuck ton of NBA satellites for no reason.
Well, if you want, I mean, are you targeting any of these contests, these NBA satellites?
Um, a little bit, but I don't know, man. I've never. It's tough. Like this, just taking a look at the satellite to the NBA clutch shot. 25-cent single entry. Basically, 1 out of 21 people get it. I don't know. I don't think that's worth it.
It's definitely not. Maybe a 100-player league you could get into.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. And while this is all loading, you think 50K Jack hits it again this week?
Hey, I've been talking to him, and we both saw him last night, and he seems confident. I think he's got another good strategy this week. If he hit it again, that would be incredible. But hopefully, he saves some for me or you to hit this week.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's take a look here. wish they had like single entry leagues, but
They do sometimes, but I mean, even so, it's 3 max versus single entry
yeah,
isn't
it's not
that
that
terrible
bad.
of a
Yeah.
difference. Yeah.
So let's take a look at this one. Take a quick peek at some of the entrants.
Yeah, the $5 ones you normally get some pretty good competition. So, but I guess I don't know. It depends here.
Yeah, I'm looking here. It's actually a pretty low, pretty good, low amount of star people and people that I don't normally would avoid. I think it's somewhere we can go.
Yeah, I mean that one doesn't. I mean, like 50% of the field doesn't have an experience badge, so I think that's fine to enter.
Perfect. And so I'm just going to switch over to the daily plug here, which, if you don't know, is the first game above the paywall.
First game is above the paywall, so
Yeah. So showing here that the single game notes says just use 1-2% of your bankroll, making a handful of cheap high risk lineups for the game. I actually really like Luck in this game. I don't think the snow's going to affect him. His ownership's definitely not going to be as high as it should be. Um, do you think he might be a good spot for MVP?
yeah, I like Luck a lot in this game. I really do. And like the plug says, I think you can go either way, quarterback or pass catcher. Although I'm not as big of a fan of Tyreek Hill or T.Y. Hilton today. And generally, you target number one pass catchers in a high total game as your captain or MVP in single game. But I don't know. Like I said, with that, I don't like their outlook that much. Like the tight ends a lot better.
Yeah,
But if
but
you,
I don't think you can put unless you're going super high risk. I don't think you can put Kelsey or Ebron as your MVP in a contest like this.
yeah, definitely not on FanDuel where there's no savings. Yeah, I think Luck makes the most sense.
Yeah,
But seeing as most other people just generally use quarterbacks anyways, we'll have to differentiate a decent amount with the other 4 spots.
yeah, and when I read in the plug, I saw this note. I'm just going to go back here. Excuse me. You talked about how you're almost fading T.Y. Hilton. So for the 4 game slate, we have projected 35% ownership. However, his ridiculous home road splits. He averages basically one fewer reception, 25 fewer yards, and a quarter of a touchdown per game on the road.
Less, right?
Less,
Yeah,
yeah, less, yeah.
yeah, that'd be terrible. Those are his road numbers. Period. Um, yeah. I mean, on the road, Chiefs actually do a pretty good job against fantasy receivers. They give up a lot of attempts, so by volume, they it looks pretty bad on paper, but just as percentage of targets and yards and touchdowns that go to receivers, they're actually pretty decent. Most of the damage against them happens through tight ends or running backs. So
Yeah, definitely. And just for real quick, are you keeping an eye on the chat in case we get any questions?
yeah, we got a couple people in here. Nick, Double Eagles from Twitter's in there.
Woo
We got
woo.
Bismo in the chat. So we got a couple guys in there. So
Perfect. Perfect. So, taking a look here, do you think I don't think there's enough salary in there to fit Mahomes. So, do you think we pair Luck up? Maybe we start off with Ebron, someone like that.
I think it's a good way to start in high risk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think a Luck, Ebron, Damian Williams start is ideal. Because Damian Williams talked about in the plug how he's pretty much moved past Spencer Ware anyways, and now Spencer Ware is unlikely to play according to national reporters, which basically gives Damian Williams a majority, if not all, of the touches for the Chiefs backfield today.
And definitely. And we were talking in one of the group chats earlier with our betting correspondent, Mike Carey. We actually like the over in his props. Uh, am I correct on that?
Oh yeah, I think he's around 50 or so rushing yards on his rushing prop, 30 or so receiving yards for his
Yeah,
receiving prop. Both those look really good to hit the over.
absolutely. Perfect. So, we have that the 3 player stack there. We got an average of 10,500 per player. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
That gives
Who,
us some good options.
yeah, I guess if you scroll down towards the bottom, is there any super cheap option? Well, I guess let's look in the 10K range first, from like maybe like 9K through 12K to see if there's anybody that stands out.
So, I mean,
Honestly, not
no.
really. But if we're going high risk
Mm-hmm.
and Sammy Watkins is playing, and some of the reports on Sammy Watkins said that he's still questionable, but Ian Rappaport on Game Day Morning or whatever NFL Network show this
Mm-hmm.
morning was saying that they were basically just resting him to make sure he's 100% for the playoffs, and they feel that's the case now.
Okay.
So if he is 100%, he's way underpriced at 7,500.
Yeah, absolutely.
He shouldn't be lower than Demarcus Robinson, who will be the fourth receiver today for the Chiefs.
Yeah, so I definitely think that's somebody we can put in. And worst case scenario, if he gets inactive, we'll find that out before the game starts. We can always change this.
Exactly.
So now here we have 13-5. I'm looking up here. Do you think we get some more to Kansas? Maybe I'm looking here. You can get maybe Kelsey. I don't like Mac so much.
Yeah, not pairing him with Luck. Maybe in low
Exactly.
risk, but
Yeah.
like in high risk, I don't.
Yeah.
But
Especially.
Kelsey makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
How much is Kelsey?
13.
Yeah, that's 13. If you scroll down a bit, I can't see on the screen who's 13.5 there for.
T.Y. Hilton.
Okay, so I think here most people playing Luck will play Ty,
Mm-hmm.
and it's only a 100 player contest. So I think we've differentiated enough here where we get the guys we like, and we didn't use our entire cap. And I think this might be a unique lineup in a 100 player league.
Absolutely, yeah. I would assume most people would, like you said, they're either going to do the Luck Hilton stack or they're going to try and go Luck Mahomes somehow, fit in that.
Yeah, I actually like this lineup a lot, but it's just I don't think you can play it in low risk just because it doesn't have
It doesn't have like the
Mahomes.
ceiling is so there, not there.
So yeah, I like this lineup a lot for a 100 player league on
I mean,
FanDuel.
Florida, yeah. All right, so let's enter this. Whoop whoop. Good to go. Do you think we enter any other type of contest with this, or do you want to go over to DraftKings?
There weren't any satellites that caught your eye, right?
No, not really.
Yeah, I would just leave it in this 100 player league then.
Okay.
Maybe if you, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's different enough to be a unique lineup in a GPP, but I think 100 player league is probably fine, and that's the key.
Yeah.
Remember, for as we think about large field contests and single game slates, differentiation is almost more important than the players you pick.
Absolutely, yeah. And I would say that what we were talking about this earlier is like the average ownership to win a GPP on single game is probably what, like 30%. And I don't think that lineup probably going to be closer to 50 to 60 average ownership.
Yeah, I think so.
So all right, so we'll head over to DraftKings, see what that's got going on.
What are your thoughts, Moose, on today's games from a betting perspective? Which side are you on?
Well, so I'm not hedging my Colts future because I actually like the Colts. If I had no futures whatsoever, I would go the Colts. I like the Colts. I like them. Actually, let's take a look at the current odds. And it's a free betting source that I like to use, sportsbookreview.com. They got, I mean, they did some like upgrade that sucks. You can always go back to their classic view. It shows across like 10 different books. Pretty. I like it a lot.
Yeah, the Colts future is obviously huge. I'm a little nervous at how much public money is on the Colts, but
Yeah, kind of. I saw a thing from Sports Insight. They were like, it's the first time since they've been tracking public betting percentage that all underdogs are over 50% in a divisional round.
literally never good. There's no chance that's not good.
Yeah. So I think maybe here you can do something like, so take a look here. You can do Indy, you can find 5. For the second game, I think maybe if you like something else, you could tease the Rams.
I think it's a good move. Tease the Rams down. Probably pair them up with the Saints in the teaser tomorrow.
Yeah, I like that. So
Moose, we got in the chat. Bismo was asking if we're playing Superflex this weekend. So maybe maybe at the end, if we have time, we'll try to pop in the Superflex lineup.
okay, absolutely, yeah. So
I think it makes sense though, because both of the guys we like the most, Mahomes and Luck, fit well in Superflex, and I think it leads itself to a pretty good low risk opportunity if you play Superflex on FanDuel.
yes, absolutely. I just want to see if they have if it's just a super flex for the 4 game slate, or if they have maybe like a 2 game super flex.
Yeah. What does it have?
Let's see. Do you know anybody, by the way, that's ever played that quick pick kickers? I don't know anybody that's ever done that.
I don't think so, and I hope they don't.
4 kickers in a super flex? That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen. Okay, so yeah, because even if you think about it, so think about this from like a game theory perspective. The quick pick kickers. Pick one kicker from each of the 4 player tiers. It means you have to pick one from every team. And then you basically are just trying to pick what player is going to score the most points the entire 4 game slate.
I don't know. I would never play that.
No. So yeah, it is for the 4 game slate, super flex.
Yeah, at the very end, if we can try to make something if we have time.
Yeah.
Because we are doing the Periscope right after this, so.
Yeah. So. Okay, perfect. So we got DraftKings up here, going along. I assume we go the same route. We go pretty much high risk here.
I think so. Yeah, I think they actually have big game satellites here. Thank God. So
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea to start with.
And so I'm shooting for this one. Try it every single freaking single game. This $2 one, got to beat like 7 out of 23 people. This is the one I've been shooting for. So let's do that one.
It's not really high risk. It's actually a little bit low risk.
Do you think we go higher risk then?
I would do the $1 300 ticket one.
Okay.
Maybe enter this twice. That way, if you hit, you get 2 tickets.
Come on, DraftKings. Load up. So it's $1 one out of the 35, 60 people.
Yeah, that's a good one. Because I mean, it's only 20 max, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
And I maxed this myself. So what I did 5 different lineups in it, 4 entries each. That way, if one of my 5 hit, I'll get back 4 tickets for that. That's that GPP.
Definitely. Now, is that GPP you think it'll be 150 max?
Yeah, I guarantee it's 150 max
Okay.
for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
I hope so, because I already have 24 tickets. If not, if
Yeah.
it's less than 150, then.
Yeah. So what would happen if, like, let's say if there's a contest that's 20 max and you end up winning 24 tickets? Are you just screwed with those other 4?
If they do that, that would be so shitty. I think they would just give you $10 generic tickets to use.
I would hope so. All right. So going up here. Now again, with DraftKings being different, where the captain price is different than the flex spot, do you think we go the same thing with Luck as our captain this time?
Maybe we go a little higher risk here, and go tight end, or a receiver. The only thing I don't like here is if Luck doesn't do that well, then we're screwed on both sites.
Yeah.
So maybe we mix up the allocation a bit.
So then you think we go someone like Ebron? That would be pretty differentiating.
I think so. Yeah, let's try that. Because basically you have to get top like 9% to cash here, so you need to do something a little different.
Yeah. And then I think you almost have to pair him up with Luck at the flex, right, to lock up some of those points.
I think so. That makes sense.
And then taking a look here for some salary saver with Sammy Watkins again. I know we don't like to keep a lot of allocation on one player, but do you think he's good here as well at 4,800?
I do. He's not as underpriced as he is on FanDuel, but he's definitely underpriced for sure. So
Yeah, so right now we're at 6,800 average per player. You put him in, that drops that brings us up to 7,500. So a pretty good increase there.
So what I like over here on DraftKings, and especially because it's PPR, I wrote about it in the plug, and I still refuse to believe the ownership projections here, as I know DFS players are a lot sharper now than it used to be. I cannot believe that they will be on Naheem Hines this week after he just screwed everyone last week. Played 9 snaps, got literally 0 touches. But this seems like such a good spot for him, a good matchup. Beat reporters and coaches have already talked about how last week was really matchup based, playing Marlon Mack a lot, and the Chiefs allow one of the highest reception totals and receiving yards to opposing running backs. Naheem Hines is that receiving running back for them, 3rd out of all rookies in receptions this year. So
wow,
I think it's a good bounce back spot for Hines, and he's just like 2,800 on DraftKings in the single game.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. The Chiefs' defense is more expensive than him.
Right. I mean, come on. That shouldn't happen.
No.
I mean, maybe that's recency bias playing a factor, but I just think it makes a lot of sense.
So I'm taking a look here. I actually had a question on Twitter earlier. They read the plug and they talked about how you take a more high risk approach, and then they wanted just a general question. It's like the higher risk you go, does that mean that you avoid the defenses more?
I don't think necessarily. Yeah, not necessarily. Definitely not. I mean, defenses can still score a lot. If they get a touchdown, you're hitting value.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's fine. It's definitely fine. Yeah, because you get a couple turnovers, or a touchdown of any sort, then you're in good shape. So I don't think so. Even if you go higher risk, you can definitely still play defense. In my Derrick Henry GPP winning lineup, whatever Thursday, however many Thursdays ago that was, I had the Titans defense in there. So
okay, yeah. I mean, even if you took a look at the Chiefs Rams Monday night ridiculousness, both defenses hit value there. I think.
Yeah, both had touchdowns.
Yeah.
So even mine, they didn't have a touchdown. They scored like 11 points or something, and that was easily enough at their price point.
Yeah. So, but I don't think here you can play the defenses.
I mean, I think you can, but you've already used Hines, so I don't think you need to use it anymore. The kickers is what I would be worried about with if it is windy and snowy.
Yeah, definitely not playing anything like that. So, taking a look here, do you think? And I'm just throwing this out there. Do you think we go if there is any, maybe like punt another position so we could fit Mahomes in?
So if you put Mahomes in, how much? Put in Mahomes, and how much salary?
So we have 8,100 left. We could fit in Williams.
Oh, we fit in Damian Williams.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's easy.
And then we have 1,500 left over, which is fine.
Yeah, it's fine on DraftKings high risk.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you like this entry?
Oh yeah, dude, I'm about to steal this lineup and put it as one of my big 5. I think.
Nice.
Super nice lineup. I like that a lot.
All right, cool. So then, what do you think we enter this? 5 times?
It's up to you for your bankroll. I like entering it at least multiple times, so at least 2. Nice. Then maybe backing it up with a single entry GPP or a booster of some sort.
2, 3. So I'll do 4. That should be fine.
Okay. And then look.
Let's make it 5. Why not?
And then look to see what because they don't have 100-player leagues on DraftKings for single game slates, so we'd have to look at some sort of multiplier, whether it's a quintuple up or a GPP of some sort.
So do you think like this, like a 10x booster, would be perfect for that?
If the contestants make sense, but it's also 35 players compared to 3,000 players in the satellite we're playing. We kind of want to match that risk reward.
Okay.
I know you're a low risk player, so.
Yeah, I was just taking a look at things. I mean, maybe we do something, maybe like the 4K Daily Dollar single entry.
Well, I think.
Huh?
I think that's probably good. Oh, this is still a really high risk approach because you have $5 of satellite exposure that will get you $0 of cash back, whereas even a min cash in this will only get you $2. So you're definitely playing for the future here with this type of contest combination.
So what would you do? And do you think you go a higher entry fee, GPP?
Higher entry fee or like a 3 max or 5 max or something that you can just double up again. I'm just looking here to see what else is available. It looks like all the ones left are just 20 maxes, and I don't know how you feel about it. Doesn't make a ton of sense to play 5 in a GPP.
Exactly, yeah. So let me take a look back at the multipliers again.
Is there just can you go to $5
Yeah,
up
that's what I'm
to
saying.
$5? See if there's anything that's like $4 or $5 that could potentially be for GPPs. And remember, while you're looking, if all the people that are listening, if you do us a favor, please click the follow button at the top. It doesn't give you any annoying notifications except when we go live, so it would help us out a great bit. The more followers we get, so
Absolutely. So I'm taking a look at this one here. What do you think about? I just saw it. Where was it? This three
that
entry max for $4.
yeah, that's a perfect one. I was just looking at that too.
Do you think we just and it's fine to enter it just one time, right?
Yeah, I think so. Ideally, you do 3, but if you only have 5, only have 1 out of 3, that's not too bad.
So
Especially it's only 297 people, so it's not bad.
I'll do it twice.
Okay.
So that gives us really good exposure there on for the future as well as for now. Cool beans. Do you think we have enough time to do that single flex lineup or super flex?
I think let's go to the next single game first, and then we'll try super flex at the end.
Okay. I didn't know we were doing the second single game.
Let's do that too. That way we can just get it all out there for people.
Absolutely. I'm down with that. We can also make a lineup for the second half.
We can always make a second half or fourth quarter lineup, apparently.
All right. So
Can't believe it's a thing.
I know. They tried it once. I guarantee they got so much negative feedback. It was stupid. It was like
so?
it was like what was it? Zeke was like 25,000 on that fourth quarter lineup. I was like, how can you play him? It's so stupid.
That's insane.
Yeah. So reading the plug here, it says play sparingly, mostly in high risk contests. Use a running back or a Rams wide receiver in your MVP captain spot. So you think we go same way?
I think so. Yeah, I feel a little more comfortable about the receivers here, so maybe someone like Cooks or Woods. But I also really like the running backs here.
So then, do you think we go? Excuse me. Do you think we go 100-player league again here as well?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I assume it has the same satellite selection, so yeah, sure.
Let's see here. Let me just see what the satellites are here. Yeah, all NBA random stuff. So, all right. So let's look at these 100-player leagues.
Updates on this weather for that early game. Haven't seen anything crazy yet, so I'm still holding strong. That total still holding at 55. So,
Woo-woo.
let me see how I'm reading this here. Okay, so Kevin Roth on Twitter is just saying that coming down pretty good outside of Arrowhead now. Game forecast still holds. Not expecting it to snow as much as it is now, but I do expect some snow.
Okay.
Not the worst thing.
Yeah, I really wish they had single injury leagues.
I don't know I don't know when they decide to do things. Like some NHL has them, some don't. I don't know what their thought process is when doing it.
So let's take a look here at not beat the score tournaments. Then maybe what do you think about going maybe like a single entry GPP instead, like a smaller one?
We could try that. I think that's also fine.
Well, I need to look at the contest before I speak because then it's just not there. Fuck, man. So then, if you're saying that you feel a little bit more comfortable about the receivers and stuff like that, nope, there's not even a fucking triple up.
Dude, the FanDuel's is their product seems slipping.
Do you just want to skip this on FanDuel and go over to DraftKings?
Yeah, let's do that. We can do that. That's fine.
Yeah. Hashtag fuck FanDuel. Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, you can at least make the contest not guaranteed. So if they don't fill, they're not losing money. But it's literally where the most people are playing, and you don't have any type of contest for them to play.
It's so mind-boggling.
All right, so yeah, I mean, I definitely want to shoot for the big game here as well.
Yeah, right. It makes sense. Yeah.
So looking at that high risk approach, do you think we go for that $1 one as well, or do we shoot for the $2 one this time?
I think we can go a little. I don't know. I think the $2 one makes a little more sense for this game.
Yeah. And so far, it's only one person in it. That'd be great. Just me and him could win both tickets.
That'd be great.
I know. So just taking a look what the total is here. Yeah, it's still 48.5. I know we like to use that number 47 to kind of determine when we want to use a wide receiver, running back, and MVP spot. So do you think we go maybe like Cooks here as the captain?
I think we can go Cooks. I like Woods a lot too. But actually, because this is only 24 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you can go Zeke at captain. I think a lot of people will go Gurley, and I think Zeke is a better option, and I think he's a safer option, and we don't need to get that crazy in this lineup.
That's true, yeah. So we can start with that. What's his if you have the model open, what's Zeke's projected weighted opportunity compared to Gurley? Is it kind of about the same?
Zeke's a little higher. It's like 38 to 32.
Okay, so right there we're getting pretty much not the better player, but the more opportunity player.
Right. Right. Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of Gurley today. Maybe this hurts me. But I'm not playing as much Gurley as his projected ownership's like 50% in our model, I think. No chance I'm playing that much Gurley.
Yeesh. Wow. So let's take a look here. So then I know we talked about the Rams wide receiver. Do you think we have to get Goff in there?
Yeah, I think Goff and then one or two of the Rams receivers make sense if we're not playing Gurley.
So let's just say like we're doing the two. We do Robert Woods, Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
That puts us at 38.50 average per player. It's kind of tough.
So I think in this game, both defenses are options for sure.
So we can actually fit both defenses in there.
Fit both defenses. I think Gerald Everett is potentially in play. He's gotten 6 targets in 3 of the last 4 games as a tight end.
Okay, so let's take these out. So, and who is that? Everett, you said?
Yeah, so maybe just play Everett. I don't know. Then you have. Let me see here. Ideally, you don't want 5 Rams and 1 Cowboy. You want closer to a 3-3 split if you can. 4-2 is fine. 5-1's okay if you play super high risk. You really want closer to 3-3 or 4-4-2 as far as like splits between teams.
Yeah, so let me just take a look over here. Uh, bow, bow, bow. Oh. So I'm reading here. Have you heard any updates about Blake Jarwin? And he said they're both very questionable.
He's begging to play. I mean, if he plays, he'll be very, very limited. I don't think there's any way you can play him.
Okay. That's tough. Yeah. So then, what other Dallas players do you think we can play that is not Amari Cooper?
I think Gallup, if Beasley is limited like we think he is, Gallup makes sense.
Let's see. So we put Gallup in. We got 2,300. That means we could put maybe like.
So Randy Scores in the chat is saying that Jarwin and Beasley both expected to play. But if you listen to beat writers, I mean, they both have high ankle sprains. It's hard to play within a week on high ankle sprains. So I just don't think they'll be effective whatsoever. And Dr. David Chow, Pro Football Doc on Twitter, whose opinion we respect when it comes to injuries, agrees that it'll be difficult for them to be effective. So
Yeah, and that doctor is so knowledgeable. Like he'll watch the first replay and be like, "All right, that's exactly what he has," and then he'll come out the next day. This is exactly what he has.
so yeah, this is the most obscure injury. How do you know that from like one angle video? But I guess when you're on the sidelines of an NFL team for years, that
Yeah, because he was what the Chargers doctor, right?
right, he was a Chargers team doctor for a while.
Yeah, and again, that just shows the point of how much good free resources are out there. I know we talk a lot about beat writers, but you have people like Kevin Roth. We mentioned him a couple times. He's really knowledgeable on the weather. Dr. Chow is great on injuries. So there's so many other free resources out there that you can take advantage of.
Right, but just be sure to listen to them for their advice in their special areas. Right, Dr. David Chow will occasionally try to give some fancy advice. Don't listen to that. Just listen to his injury advice.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't really see anybody here. That so I think we do you think we did too much with Woods and Cooks? Do you think we maybe go someone else?
Yeah, maybe we drop down from Cooks to Reynolds or Woods to Reynolds even. Like Josh Reynolds, they should be playing 3 receiver sets a decent amount today. So
See, so we switch that out. We keep
yeah,
Gallup. That gives us
yeah.
4,300. That's still tough.
He plays Zerline, which I don't mind.
Yeah, I can see that. Put in Zerline.
To be fair, I actually kind of hate this lineup. So
Do you want to start over then? Do you think maybe we don't go Zeke as the MVP?
I don't know. Maybe we go one of the Rams receivers at MVP.
Well, let's see that. Let's see how that works. So we go here. You think? I mean, I think then Woods would have to be MVP, right?
Yeah.
So then if we do that and we go Zeke, we have Goff. That gives us 5,700. Let's see. If we go back to and we put Reynolds in there, not Cooper Rush.
Yeah. Super sleeper Cooper Rush.
It was like, what was it? The first game that Mayfield went in off the injury. Someone had him in their single game, and that's how they won the GPP. Like, that's some bullshit.
Like, it's funny because while Lee and I talked about that on the podcast that week, it was like, yeah, in order to get first place in one of those big single game GPPs, you almost have to like play like a backup quarterback or something. And we just like both laughed about it. And then Mayfield comes in and wins some dude single handedly $250,000.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, so I'm looking here. So if we play Zerline, like we were talking about, they give us 7,300, and there's a bunch of backup quarterbacks.
That's 6,000, 7,000 ranges is just filled with backup quarterbacks every single slate.
Um, so tough.
Could play the Rams backup running back at $7,000.
That's fucking stupid. It's the
All right, so
ultimate Todd Gurley fade.
yes, yeah, seriously. What if you drop down from Zerline to one of the defenses?
You go Zerline, and then maybe go Rams. I guess maybe.
I think Rams.
I guess it's 6,300. Fit in Gallup, Beasley, Charlotte. So tough, man.
Wait, oh, the Rams are more expensive than Zerline. Shit, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. We go to the Cowboys defense. They give us 8,100. You can fit in Cooks there.
Oh, that kind of tells a story too, right? Where it's like Dallas controls the game. LA has to come back with passing.
Yeah. I kind of dig it.
Yeah, and this is pretty high risk. Maybe interested in GPP too because, I mean, there's no Gurley, and Rams very pass heavy.
Yeah. So I went ahead and put that in. Let's go ahead and put this in a some sort of GPP, higher risk GPP. Maybe in like this 5K daily dollar.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think. I like this lineup for high risk a lot.
Cool beans. All right, perfect. So we're in that.
So remember, all these guys we are discussing, for those out there listening, our daily plug has everybody written up. It's like 4,000 words this week for each team playing, and gives a lineup and contest advice. So go check that out, occupyfantasy.com.
Yeah, so I have it up here. Again, the first game is above the paywall. Pretty much, Brian's a great writer at this. Talks about all the different information you need to know to have a successful slate for each team, how to play it on the 4-game slate, the single game, 2-game, all that.
And you guys, if I saw it right there in the plug talking about our podcast this week. If you haven't checked it out yet, please go check it out with our member Jack, who won the $50,000 last week. Just an incredible interview. He did a great job explaining his process and his game theory, and just I think it was just a good interview to get a peek from a different perspective when it comes to playing DFS. Like you hear us talk about it all the time, but to hear how one of our members plays it, especially one who's successful in fantasy football, I think was really enlightening for people.
Yeah, I think the crazy, I don't want to say crazy, but like the most unique thing I heard in that interview was he's like, if I play this guy, I don't care about him hitting 3x value. What's the ability of him getting 25 points? Like, you don't really hear that type of approach that often.
Right, it makes a ton of sense if you're playing super high risk, right?
Yeah.
In order to get first place, which is what your goal should be every time, like you need all your guys to hit near their ceiling. Can this guy score 20 points? Like me playing Tavon Austin at $3,000, whatever. He might get 10 points, but like that's not gonna win you a GPP more than likely. So
Exactly. Yeah.
makes sense. So yeah, go check that out if you haven't listened to it yet, and subscribe to our podcast. We come out with a podcast every week. We'll even be doing stuff during the off season. So iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you hear it, definitely check it out.
Yep. So I think that's pretty good. Contest backing it up with the GPP. I think that looks pretty good, don't you think, Brian?
So too.
Cool beans. So we tackled both single games. Do you want to before we head up out here? Do you want to do that super flex?
Hey, let's bang it out real quick. We're doing the Periscope at 2:30 on our Twitter feed, so we got 15 minutes. Let's go ahead and bang that out real quick.
So for the 4-game slate with super flex, I feel like you can go maybe a little bit less high risk.
Oh yeah, I think you can go low risk. Period. On super flex, we've talked about it the last 2 Twitch streams. I think super flex low risk is the way to go, just because most people don't play it optimally.
Yeah. So do you think maybe we go we got like this $5 double up here?
How's the
the entrance.
Competition looking, yeah.
Um,
It was a lot of people in the chat, by the way, saying that they love the podcast and they thought that point about the 20+ points per player was one of the best pieces of advice that they've heard.
Absolutely, yeah. Do you think that advice is only good for high risk, or do you think you can play that in other like 100-player leagues, maybe like quintuple ups, stuff like that?
I don't think you have to do it as much.
Yeah.
Certainly, you want that idea in 100-player leagues, but I think it's okay to have maybe one guy who doesn't have that ability in a 100-player league.
Mm-hmm.
But on larger slates, like, you should be able to find that with every position.
Absolutely, yeah. So let's say that double up didn't really look too good. Everybody in there had an experience badge. So let's take a look here. This guy's name AOL Instant Messenger. That's a great name.
What a sick name.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna roll with this one. This $5 50/50.
Lots of people without experience badges here, so.
Exactly, yeah, and especially the fact that you only need to hit top 50%. It's perfect.
And this has 92 people in it. I would just really quickly put in a dummy lineup, Moose, to make sure we get into this contest because it did look so good, and then go in and change it immediately after we answer.
All right.
And Moose, everybody in the chat is saying they've seen the AOL Instant Messenger guy play a ton on FanDuel.
Oh, the dude's definitely winning it then.
Yeah, fuck him.
All right, so I literally picked random people, and that actually wasn't that bad of a lineup. I was able to fit Mahomes, Gurley, and Breeze, and Zeke. God damn.
Right, let's definitely go back and edit a little bit, though.
I know that was some trash.
Yeah, Wendell Smallwood.
All right, so let's clear off. So, for those listening, I don't think you cannot get cute with your super flex. You have to go quarterback. I don't care regardless what. It's the floor ceiling for quarterback is so much higher than any other position.
Gotta do it, especially on slates where they're legit quarterbacks playing.
Yeah, exactly. So, take a look here. Do you like anybody from the Saturdays? I know Mahomes, Luck, the highest total. Just take a look.
I say we slot both those guys rate highly in raw projections and ownership. I think you just very simply put in Mahomes and Luck in your superflex.
Perfect. Let's go ahead here. And that still gives us 6,800 per player. Take a look here at running back. I'll take it.
Well, we know our values. We know our according to our model, which likes Zeke over Gurley. It likes Damian Williams a lot. I think you get both those guys in and see where to go.
So we go Zeke, Damian Williams. They pull that in. It was $6,500 per player. Let's see what kind of like tight ends are going there. Do you like putting Ebron in here?
It should be a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
You know, I love Ebron.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially on FanDuel, where touchdowns are relatively worth a little bit more.
So let's take a look here. Michael Thomas should go for 3,000 yards, but I don't think we have enough to fit him in.
We mentioned a few value plays in the daily plug that could maybe help us fit him in. So
let's see here. What are some of those plays?
Ted Ginn, Chris Hogan, Josh Reynolds. Those three guys seem to have the highest floors of the cheap plays.
Okay, I'm gonna really quickly pull up our model. You guys can get a sneak peek at this as well. for those who don't know, the Occupy models are real-time adjustable dashboard. Takes over 150 metrics, puts it into a really simple OF index that you can pretty much use to compare across positions. Has a whole bunch of other stats behind it. Like in this case, for wide receivers, we have projected targets. So if you're thinking about maybe a value guy, use a filter, filters their salary, and then just go ahead and sort by projected targets, get a good value play right there.
Exactly.
So let's take a look here. I know the Philadelphia wide receivers are ranked pretty highly based off their salary. Do you like here? But he's not getting that many targets. I would say someone like Gold Tate.
And their ownership is low too. So we're playing low risk here. I think we just try to get in the highest owned, highest floor guys we can.
So let's see. So if we go here, we put in Michael Thomas. That leaves us with 5,500 average per player. You said Ginn was somebody who could be a value play.
Yeah, I definitely think so. But we especially on Superflex on FanDuel. The flex spot, the second flex spot, not the true flex, the actual flex spot. We want 3 running backs, so I think we try to. I'd rather pay up for that third running back than pay up for Michael Thomas.
Okay, that's cool with me. So let's fit in for that flex and let's see where we go from there.
Okay. I think you try to fit in one of those big guys, whether it's Gurley or Kamara, whichever one you like better at their price.
Yeah, so I like Kamara.
600 savings might be pretty useful.
Exactly. Let's take a look here now at the wide receiver spot. Yeah, I mean, you figure Kamara, Thomas are the same price. I think Kamara has a higher floor than Thomas. Do you agree with that?
Higher touchdown projection for sure, too.
Absolutely.
So how much salary do we have left?
5,500 per player. I'm just trying to take a look at. I'm just sorting in the model by projected targets. Just trying to find someone that's pretty low.
How much is Josh Reynolds? Because
yeah, I was gonna say
FanDuel because he actually leads the team in red zone targets since Cooper Kupp went down.
So Josh Reynolds is 5,600.
Yeah, that makes sense. Put
him in. He was 5,400 left for wide receiver. Let's see who's kind of around that.
We might have just missed the cutoff here.
Yeah, I know that's tough.
Pretty tough.
See one thing here. What do you think about? I'm just looking here. Do you think about cutting Ebron, pay down for Gronk? Do you think he's been so shitty recently?
I hate Gronk. I can't play Gronk. What if we went off Mahomes or Luck? What if we?
Yeah, let's take off Mahomes, most expensive player on the slate,
and go Breeze maybe, because Breeze has probably the highest floor after him.
That gives us 5,700. Go to
Wars. Then we can fit in a value receiver.
Chris Hogan, you said?
I think Hogan's probably the next one. Him or actually Ginn maybe, since we have Breeze too.
He's 4,500.
Ginn's 45?
Yeah.
Oh, let's get Ginn and get Mahomes back in there. See if we can upgrade somewhere else. I think we can upgrade to Kelsey at that point.
Okay, so if we do that, we have 900 remaining. You take out Ebron, and we can fit in Kelsey.
Oh, well, there we go.
And we have exactly 0 remaining.
Baller. That's pretty sweet when that happens.
Yeah. Save changes. if you look at it, it's actually a really sick lineup.
Dude, I would enter that in more contests and once this stream ends, because that's pretty nice.
Exactly. Yeah, I definitely like that. I mean, I feel like you almost play this in a higher risk contest, maybe in like
You
a
can play
league or
that.
something.
Yeah, dude, you can play that in whatever. I mean, that's a great lineup.
A lot of correlation, a lot of super high floor there too.
Oh yeah, that's a sick lineup. I like that one a lot.
Hashtag Superflex.
Yeah, no shit.
Cool. So, I know you gotta get ready for your Periscope.
Yep.
Are there any other lingering questions out there that we might have missed?
No, I think we hit all the questions. So everyone, thanks for listening. Please, please, please be sure to follow us before you hit the exit button. Definitely follow us up there on Periscope. Like I said, it helps us
You mean
out.
Twitch?
Oh shit, yeah, Twitch. Yeah, follow us on Twitch. I mean, you can follow us on Periscope too, but we prefer Twitch. So
Yeah, right up there. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can follow us at Twitter at Occupy Fantasy. At the top there. Follow me at CFB_Moose. Follow that guy at Brian Jester FF. And if you have anything else to add, I think we can get up out of here.
yeah, let's get about. And if you're new to us, remember occupyfantasy.com is where you can get all of the great content that we provide. So thank you for listening.
Peace.
See you, Moose.
Peace.